Hello, everybody.
Fucking sexist.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Just hit record.
It's already recording.
Triplefour. Let's talk about it.
Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, he said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason. Then he says Jim Norton.
Bob Dylan I find personally obnoxious, but the Beatles destroyed culture.
Oh my god.
I got Elon Musk to smoke weed in my Tesla the other day. It's not even a big fucking deal. Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you? We really didn't.
You know, you can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
You just might get it.
Oh, you get it!
Sup, foreheads. Welcome to the Triplefour podcast, episode 57. You tell me. It's not my show. You know, today, very special episode. We want to talk about how it's the third anniversary of the Triplefour podcast, late April 2018, when, you know, EST.2018. And also it's about a year plus a month for the COVIDious pandemic. And we have the golden era COVID cast crew with us today, featuring, you already know, gosh,
Wonder She.
that would have been great if your network bandwidth wasn't so low.
What?
Oh, you're back.
I
Deserve reparations for you going ahead of me. Okay.
Everyone?
That's true. There was a cutting in line.
Oh,
But I think we can all acknowledge that it was pretty fucked up that you didn't introduce me first because I'm a woman, okay? And my last name would come first, technically, anyway, so.
Look, my last name comes last, and if you go from Z to A, fuck you.
what did
Well.
Doc say in high school about you, Josh? He's like, as soon as
Last of the Mohegans. Every time I even saw that man, he was like, "Hey, it's Josh, last of the Mohegans."
no, he said like, you know, as soon as you graduate, I'm out of here.
Oh, something like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also had him for that homeroom. Anytime.
Oh yeah.
Anytime he started saying that stuff.
Yeah. So there's Josh.
Howdy.
Also, Maddie is here.
Thank you. Great introduction.
Different kind of vibe here, different kind of show. Everybody's in different places. I would argue that we all kind of look different a little bit. Also, not me, obviously.
I shaved
no.
the sideburns off, gone full dude with an Uzi.
Oh shit.
I knew. I reviewed that footage recently, and I was like, oh yeah, he did not have sideburns. I showed the films to a few people, and you were referred to as the sideburns one. There was Dick Pasta and the sideburns guy. But you know, iconic look.
I'll take that title. I'm
Yeah.
the sideburns guy, just not right now.
I was just so used to you looking like that it never occurred to me that it was unique or different at all.
I know, yeah.
I kept those sideburns intact for 2 years for that.
Yeah. Well, it's like the guy from Eraserhead. He had that Eraserhead hair for 5 years while they made that movie. So, you know, speaking of the film, speaking of sideburns, Darkness on the Edge of Town is still on Amazon Prime. We've made it, I don't know, like 8 months at least. Pretty good. So until you know, the Zos decides to, you know, revoke our permissions or whatever, that's on Amazon Prime. Go stream it. If you don't want to stream on Prime, or you don't have it, it's also on YouTube, on this YouTube channel, as is Dude with an Uzi and Cyborg. And that lovely poster can be purchased on the Triplefour store. The link is in the bio. Here's a great picture of Josh sporting a Bug Society t-shirt in the wild.
Yes.
Lovely stuff there. Bug Society t-shirts, get your merch for the films, the music, N. Ron Hubbard, whatever is your fancy, whatever your kink is, if you want people to know that you know shit about punk rock, get that Bug Society t-shirt. And obviously we live in a bug society, because things are crazy right now.
Is it just me, or is it getting crazier out there?
Because
Things are crazy right now.
It's over. We declared it was over a year ago.
A year ago.
Yeah.
We won.
We won. It was done.
A whole year since we defeated COVID. Fucking crazy. Time flies when you're having fun.
I meant to go re-listen to the first episode that we did when the pandemic lockdown started, the first one in March, because all I remember talking about was that movie where Ben Affleck was a drunk basketball coach. But I remember us saying stuff
Comeback?
like The Way Back.
The Way Back. That's what it is.
Yeah, something like that. And that movie where Ben Affleck was a fucking unit. That he's looking meaty, he's looking beefy. But also I remember us saying stuff like, "Hey, we're all gonna get it. It's gonna be fine." It's like,
yeah.
And
Aged
look
well.
who ended up fucking getting it.
All of us are gonna get it. Not just one person.
Oh,
Not just
one of us, whatever.
it's everyone's scared of it, but the thing is, it's not as big as of a deal as we think about it if we take those necessary precautions and take and realize that some of these things that have been placed, like social distancing and these cancellations of big events, happen for the sake of you're probably going to get it, and the effects of it have symptoms similar to the flu, but it might be a little bit worse. But it's not overwhelming. The healthcare system that we have currently in place. So I got it. Whatever. That didn't defeat it. We all announced it, and I got it later on. So obviously, it wasn't defeated.
but not like you asked for it or anything.
No.
I thought you
Look, I was literally
he
begging
asked for it.
hospital beds for them to cough into my lungs. I wanted my lungs to curd up like you left ice cream out on the park bench and it's 80 degrees outside.
Oh God.
yeah. Well,
So-
now 2 of us are vaccinated. Nick, are you vaccinated?
All right, everybody, take your bets. Fans at home, take your bets. Which 2 of us are vaccinated?
I am not.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the mentality we need. That's the approach we should take. I got Johnson & Johnson, baby.
Couldn't be me. Majority
I
gang.
Literally have antibodies still. Fuck me.
Josh, when did you have it?
Hard way.
I had it almost 3 months ago. So, yeah. So I, 2 days of pain, and then 2 weeks of tiredness, and then I'm good.
I'm good.
But the mental breakdowns still remain.
Yeah, you want to give us some deets about what
Just basically, I guess, like the origin of it, or like just basically what happened preceding it.
Yeah, tell the story of how you think you kind of know how you got it.
I know how I got it.
Where were you? Where did you go?
He was
My
slinging
work.
it at Hot Shots Bar and Grill.
Oh yeah, no, I went to B-Dubs.
Anyway,
But no, I know I got it from my work. And so the initial part was that there's a woman that checks our temperature every day. So the person that takes our temperature was the one that initially got it. And she was experiencing like cold symptoms and stuff. She didn't usually she usually had this every season because it was allergy season. So it's harder to really like say for some people whether or not they actually do have it, because it actually could be allergies now. And so she usually has those symptoms during this allergy season. And so she never thought anything of it at the time. So, but until it was basically a whole week, it was basically 3 days there. And then like Thursday morning, it was oh yeah, she got tested for positive for COVID. And she was the one that kind of walked to our desks and like took our temperature and was like right next to a couple other people. And so, you know, I was sitting there like, oh, well, I'm fucked at this point. Like, that's the closest I've ever had. We've all had like some scares, but that was the one that was like, this is a pretty good shot that I'm getting it. But so funny enough, the person that took the temperature wasn't the person that gave me COVID. It was someone I was with, because I went with them on a lunch trip, like prior to us knowing about her COVID test. So I went with him to lunch, and then it was the weekend came up and I felt fine. And then he texted me like Saturday night saying, basically paraphrasing, I'm kind of fucked. And so I'm like, well, fuck, I'm done. I'm like actually done. So Sunday I woke up and I felt like I felt okay. I didn't feel like anything crazy. I felt like somewhat off, but nothing like anything like I would come down to like COVID related. Monday comes around and I am absolutely fucking flavor blasted with COVID. I'm in my bed. I am fucking clocked out mentally. I'm dying under my sheets. And I remember the first like day, like the first 24 hours, I ate one rice cake. That was it. I didn't have any energy to get up. I had no energy to like eat something. I was just fucked.
Did you have any stomach stuff going on? Did you have like
I didn't have any stomach aches or anything like that.
Vomiting or
no.
The other option?
Nausea?
Pooping?
No, the other exit. Yes.
I was hot snaking the whole way. So no, I didn't have any of that really. That's what's the weird part about it, is that like the one I don't know, I guess the strain I got was pretty okay, because I didn't get any like really bad headaches. I didn't get like a lot of stomach pain. I got like a lot of aches, and then I didn't have.
I was just wondering, because I'm pretty sure I just had stomach flu. I thought it was food poisoning at first, but yeah, pretty sure I had stomach flu like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know. It's different for everybody, but for me, it wasn't like anything too crazy. It's just that first day, I was completely fucked. There's just nothing like getting around that. But like the second day, I was still pretty bad. And like during this whole time, we were quarantined anyway, because obviously there was someone there that had it, so you can't go back. So the second day it was decent, but like it came like in waves where I can like get up and do stuff for like 5 minutes, but then after that I had to go back to bed and fucking sleep for like 20, 30 minutes. So that's how like the second day really was for me. It was basically kind of like that, but I had enough to where I can actually like do stuff, eat, and like do normal person things, normal dude things.
Just guys being dudes.
Just guys being dudes.
Regular dude.
I'm a pretty normal guy. I'm a pretty regular guy.
Swell guy.
Till I get a little COVID in me, and then I get a little.
And then I get a little bedridden, a little bit sick. But after those 2 days, it was essentially kind of just me kind of coasting. Really, like there wasn't like a period of time where I was like, "Wow, this is really bad." It wasn't like just also intersectional with like anything too crazy. But later on, I lost my senses. Like, so at the end of the week, I started losing my taste and my smell. My smell never went away completely. It like had little bursts where if it was something that was really strong, I could smell it. But it had to be really strong for me to smell it. And then for taste, it just kind of went away one day. I just kind of like drank like, I think I had like coffee or something. I just didn't taste. I'm like, oh, this tastes like nothing.
You're just dumping hot coffee in your body. Like,
wow, I don't feel a thing.
I don't feel a thing.
Yeah, so that's how it was. And like, yeah, that was basically near the end of it. Because that's when the person who I got it from had the same like timeline as I did. So that's how I knew I got it from them. So that was 2 weeks of fun.
Hell yeah.
I like to call it. And then they kind of like so the city kind of called me too for like tracking it and was like, you know, it's like, yeah, you need to be in isolation for like 2 weeks. It's like, okay. And it's like, do you live alone? Or you're like, do you live with roommates? I'm like, oh, I live with roommates. And she's like, you know, it's like, is it, you know, can you ask them to like just give you food and put it next to your door and like water and shit? I'm like, I'm not, no, they're not running food service for me. Like, there's no way. That's such it's such like a heavy load to ask of them because they also have jobs and they also have their own life. That's like, they're having to cater to that. And plus, I'm like, I'm not doing anything that's like, I wore like gloves inside the house and I wore a mask inside the house during the whole time. So it wasn't like I wasn't like just fingering and diddling everything around me. It wasn't literally just licking up doorknobs.
And they didn't get sick.
No.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, so obviously I did my job. You're welcome.
Society. God. You're welcome. That's another funny thing about listening to the older shows. Like, I want to say maybe it was like episode 30-ish around there that COVID started. And almost every week, one of us got on and was like, I'm pretty sure I have COVID. Like, it was like 1 week it's Nick, like, yeah, I am pretty sure I got it. And then the next week it's Maddie and like, yeah, I definitely had COVID this week.
And Maddie, you actually you got the corona today, didn't you?
Yeah. I've got the big C. She's here with me. She's caressing me. And, you know, we kind of hit it off at first. And, you know, as the day wore on, I'm getting a little tired of her. And she's really not, like, leaving me. But she's here. Yeah. I don't know up from down anymore. I kind of forgot what clouds look like. The sun.
Honestly, that sounds like you're actually getting woke. Not like you're getting sick. You're getting more woke.
And it was Josh in the end.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
If you go back and listen to, time travel back to episode 31, March 2020, and take your bets on which one of us gets COVID. Yeah, well, that's unfortunate.
I wasn't even doing anything either. I was at my work. Like, I was even like...
Yeah, not due to negligence, you know.
I got exposed at work very briefly. But then I got vaccinated, baby.
Now she's a Moderna mommy.
Get the virus.
Get the virus. What are you doing?
I did it. Look at me. I'm mentally fucked.
Dang. There is a strong correlation between getting the vaccine and your hair turning a different color.
Huh. That's
a side effect that I experienced, and it looks like Dan also experienced. Yeah.
Well, for me, that's just the lighting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So my experience was Johnson & Johnson. So I might touch on this again later, but I went to Michigan for a month and I came back to Chicago, and this was when they announced, okay, everyone over the age of 16 can get the vaccine now. Like, you're eligible, which in hindsight, I could have snuck in there probably. Like I noticed when I was filling out the thing, it was like, are you a smoker or were you formerly a smoker? And I'm like, come on, dude.
Yes.
Totes.
Yes.
I'm cool.
Totes.
I have video evidence that you were.
Yeah, I'm cool. Let me get the shot, dude. I smoke. Yo, you smoke? That's what they would say when you would walk in the vaccination place. And
you said that as you're getting the shot.
Yeah, yo, you smoke?
Yo, you smoke?
Yo, I fucking smoke.
Yeah.
And I got back, and I was invited to join a Facebook group called Chicago Vaccine Hunters. And it was all
that sounds like a reality television show.
Yeah, it's just all of these like suburban moms who are like, okay, I heard Jewel Osco in River North has Pfizer for the next 2 days. Go. That's what all the posts were like. They were like, okay, this Walgreens here in Northwest suburbs has it. So I got into that group thinking, okay, it's going to be a few weeks. I'm going to have to track some shit down. And then ultimately what I did was I just went on the website for Jewel Osco, which is the grocery store. And I went to their vaccine availability appointment scheduling thing. And I looked first at the 2-dose ones and there was nothing available. And then I clicked, okay, Johnson & Johnson. Oh yeah, all next week. Come in. We got you. We got spots open. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it happened. And I got like 4 or 5 different people I know to also make appointments for Johnson & Johnson. And then literally the next day that article came out about blood clots. And really that wasn't like an actual cause for concern, I don't think. I mean, that was like, unfortunate, obviously, but it was, less than 1 in a million chance because they had given out 7 million doses and it was 6 people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was like 12, but still, it's not even like enough.
Now it's like 600,000, but it's fine.
I just checked the numbers. It's 5.4 million.
Oh, yeah. So got that. That night was like, I felt pretty good that day. Like, I'm just like, whatever, dude. Fucking got this shot in the arm. No big deal. A little sore, little Band-Aid. No big deal. And had a productive regular day. And then the moment I lay in bed and get all tucked in, and I'm just like immediately start like getting feverish and chills, like, and then alternating between the two and just super fatigued, and probably kind of just a microcosm of what it was to actually get the virus. And I believe Johnson & Johnson's the only one that's the usual vaccine technology. Being that Pfizer and Moderna have that like new mRNA stuff. But like Johnson & Johnson's more like correct me if I'm wrong, but like more like a regular vaccine where they kind of give you a little taste of the vid. And like, it was just like a very rough night, until the wee hours of the morning. And then when I woke up, I felt fine. So, and I think, what I've heard is like, if your body does react that way, that it probably means that you did not have COVID and that your immune system is functioning properly.
I heard completely different, actually.
Oh, so I had COVID.
It might be different for Johnson & Johnson, but my understanding was if you react to the first dose, you probably had COVID. Because like my brother had it and he had like the typical second dose reaction to the first dose. So I don't really know how that works with Johnson & Johnson, but I forget the exact science. My brother explained it at one point, but that was like the bid.
So
I think they should just start handing it out in cheese cubes in the grocery store.
Wow. Yeah.
Would you like a sample?
Costco sample vaccinations.
That's the only way we're going to get 70-80%, folks. We need to just start putting it in the cheese cubes.
I mean, I did get mine in a liquor store, so.
What?
Yeah. My work, they were like, oh, fuck, you guys are definitely count in this class of people, so you're allowed to get the vaccine now. And
former smoker, Maddie Bowen.
But yeah, so there was like, yeah, you're allowed to sign up. Everything's fine. Your field staff, cool. And we were all looking around at different places. And one of the ladies in admin sent us this link, which was not accessible from this place's website. But it's basically this local liquor store that has this really small pharmacy in the very back. And they got a shipment of Moderna in. They were like, let's go, baby. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm getting my shot in a liquor store. And I went, and it's literally a liquor store, and the back wall is a pharmacy. And I sat on a chair in a hallway, and they stabbed me. And then I got a 20% off coupon for liquor.
Are you sure you didn't take heroin?
This is so euphoric.
There's no fucking way. Like, just the setting of it makes it seem like you're in a back alley.
I know. Well, when I went back for the second dose, I did get a second coupon. But they put us in a room instead of the hallway this time. But yeah, I thought it was really sketchy. But I did Google the place, and they came up in a news article about like being able
shooting
up heroin in their patients. No, about being able to give the vaccine, but like they weren't able, like they were not being given the vaccine to give out. And I was like, oh, this is like a real place. And I guess it's one of the last ones like in Denver or in Colorado that is like this liquor store / pharmacy. I don't know.
It was crazy because the Velvet Underground was playing, and like then they gave me a Bombay gin shooter and some home fries. So it was fucking crazy.
I actually felt really good afterwards.
Kind of wore off after a little while, so then I kind of started to itch.
Started hallucinating a little bit. No, my shit lasted all day though. Like I went home that night and I was fine, and I had some like light joint pain. And then I woke up and I was like, oh, this is fine. I didn't even need to take off work. And then like an hour later, I was like, I'm dead. See ya.
He transformed into a body.
Yeah.
Transformed into a roach like Gregory in the Metamorphosis.
Gregory. Well, now, so like what's interesting / crazy / parentheses right now is that we're in a really weird phase of society, social rules and expectations and things. Like so if I was in St. Charles, Missouri, I would probably feel very differently. Like so the CDC said if you're vaccinated, you can go outside, no mask, it's cool. And then Joe Biden put out the Instagram post, if you're vaccinated, let's go outside. Hell yeah. And then everybody's like, so, but like I live in the, populous area with, lots of people everywhere. So I don't want to go outside without a mask. Not that I'm concerned about getting the vid, but it's like, I just don't want to be the unmasked guy walking around a really crowded, populous area. The other night I was walking home from somewhere and I had had my mask in my pocket because, I'm outside and there's nobody around. Then I'm okay. Right. So I put it in my pocket and then I turned back to go home and I'm like, all right, there's somebody walking towards me. I'm going to I had dropped the mask. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm really doing this. It's Biden time, baby. So I started, I'm walking home, no mask, and I don't feel unsafe, but I feel like a douchebag because I'm just like, I don't give a fuck about anybody, and they don't know I'm vaccinated. So like,
yeah, I just don't want people to think I'm a Republican. So
all right, we've seen the tweet.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Dan, I'm somewhere halfway between St. Charles, which is where we do band practice, but that's just a single person's residence. I'm somewhere half between like there and populated area. I'm in the suburbs, literally equidistant. But I had to go to the DMV today which was strangely dystopian. They have an enforcer standing outside the door, and the second you approach the building, she goes, "What are you here for?" And I was just like, "Oh, new ID." She goes, "Come right in. Come in." There's like a whole line of people, and she just goes, "Come in. Second grade chair. Sit in the chair." Like,
okay.
I like how they do it for a DMV. Like, where else are you going to DMV for? Just to hang out?
Dude, people be hanging out at the DMV. I don't know the last time you've been there.
People are
cool
they're
hideout.
a little bit dumb, and when I went to the DMV, it was like everyone was waiting in these lines, and then they were in places they weren't supposed to be, and the lines got really confused on like who is going for ID and who is going for like, oh, I need to like talk to a person and register my vehicle or whatever.
No, this enforcer was on it. She had a strong game. It wasn't playing games. She was telling people if you sat in the wrong chair, she'd be like, "No, that chair."
Oh wow,
That's super weird.
The brown one.
It was double gray by the wall. That's what she said. She said double grays by the wall.
Say, if the DMV is already like off-putting enough as it is when you go in there, imagine someone just telling you to like assign seating, weird. Like you're in elementary.
There was this guy, a dude that came in. He was sitting in the chair, and he was cracking jokes the whole time he was waiting because it was total just dead air in there besides the clerk's transactions. He was like, Eddie Murphy didn't have any of those ideas. Those were all my ideas.
Holy shit.
And then he got to the desk and he started talking to the woman, and she told him that he didn't have the proper paperwork and that probably the best course of action would be to come back on another day. And he said, "You know what? I don't care what your husband says about you. I like you." Wow. She was clear. It's like they're open for like another 15 minutes. I got there real late in the day, and you could tell she was totally ready to leave. But he said that, and then he continued to say that I stopped using that joke a year ago because I said it to a man, and I said, "You know what? I don't care what your wife says about you. I like you." And he said, "Yeah, well, fuck her. She's a cunt."
Oh.
In the DMV, okay. And everybody was just like, "Whoa!"
The DMV is a ghoul headquarters.
Yeah, DMV is a ghoul hideout.
Yeah. The last time I was at the DMV, I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast or if I just told you guys, but like there was a woman in there who was like, just like she didn't have the proper paperwork. She didn't have any proof of anything. She didn't have any ID, and she was like, "How am I supposed to get an ID if I don't have a thing?" And it's tears, and it was a scene. And she kept, almost I'm going to throw up. And then there was a trash can scooted over. And I was just like,
I went to Walmart, which has always been dystopian, but particularly now. And I don't know if it's just this particular location, but
Walmart also a lightning rod for ghouls.
Yeah, say that. It's another ghoul hideout.
Yes. Lots of beefed up security everywhere. The casino as well. They just put tables back out in the hallways. There were no tables there, but there has been an increasing authoritarian presence around the casino. I don't know if it's just car break-ins or what, or people are acting up because they're all cooped up and crazy. I had a run-in probably about 2 months ago where I was leaving work, walking down the hallway to the garage, and in the lobby of the hotel connected to the casino, lo and behold, a glitch in the matrix, there are about 7 or 8 local law enforcement, 3 casino security guards, and 2 to 3 what look to be detective types. I don't know if they're deeper level casino security. I had never seen them in the building before, but they had the big hangy badges, big shiny badges, all surrounding a lone Asian man sitting in a chair laughing maniacally.
It's not a James Bond villain.
That's what I thought. It was like a scene out of a movie. I don't know if this man had a plot to tectonically shatter North America or what, but he was laughing at them like, you ha 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 ha. It wasn't like your joke is funny. It was like, I'm going to destroy the world and everyone in it. And
then he started saying, see, the Joker is coming out.
He said, we live in a society.
Bringing up in here.
Actually, he just said society. That was the only word I heard him say. And then I walked out.
We have a vast array of knowledge about guns, mental health, and how they might mix or they might not. Cat Scratch Fever. Check it out on the Triplefour YouTube channel. Yeah.
I don't say Missouri in general, 0 out of 10 rating on for me.
TripAdvisor.
Yeah. Well, I went back a couple weeks ago and it was just so infuriating. Nobody cared at all about masks at all. Not even fucking close. And we went to Main Street, but I was like, we have to stay outside because I'm not intermingling with these things. And I went in to go to the bathroom. I'm waiting there. This chick comes up to me without her mask on. Her mask is in her hand. And she was like, I don't think masks are a thing here. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Biden, let's go.
Biden. This is Biden country, baby. Well,
I don't know. It was almost like a culture shock going back because I spent so much time in Rolla when I was there, literally disconnected from the entire universe. And then I moved to Colorado where people apologize to me when I'm walking on the trails hiking and they don't have their mask on, to everyone just spitting in each other's lungs.
There was a time that I was walking on Main Street and a woman went to sneeze and she took off the mask to sneeze and then put it back on the mask. I'm like, wow, that was
very cool.
Impressive.
Let's go.
You can just pull the mask up. Well, that's it. I mean, there's an interesting point there because I experienced the exact same thing. I mean, all four of us were in St. Charles last summer. I mean, Nick, you weren't living there, but you were there with us.
I was around. Yes, yeah, I experienced the thing.
Well, it's just like the mentality is different in different places. And to some degree, it's like it does scale based on the populace. I mean, also it's also very directly related to the political slant of an area, like how, COVID was being treated and how mask mandates and stuff are being implemented here in Chicago, specifically, North Side Chicago.
Dude, you have a Chicago accent now. You just said Chicago like
hey,
Malort, Chicagoan.
Old style Malort. Hey, the Bears. And so that's what I'm like now. You love it or leave it. But yeah, it's just a different culture. Like nobody was going places at all. It was still kind of a little, it's a little touchy to be hanging out with other people, especially because what they discovered was that most people getting COVID, it was just because they were hanging out with their friends, and specifically our age group. And, when we flash back to last summer, it's like, we weren't going out or anything, but we were hanging out with each other, and we would go, to the park or to places on Main Street or whatever, which I'm not ashamed or embarrassed of or anything, but the culture is different, and that's something.
Yeah, but when we hit lockdown, you fell off the face of the earth. I didn't see you. We completely halted production on Darkness, and you disappeared for the solid 3 to 4 months before I saw you, and then you came back a skeleton.
Well, I saw a great film about skeletons that I felt inspired me. No, but yeah, but that was the lockdown. That was, everybody was doing that. Everybody was doing it.
Not everybody. No.
Well, sure. Okay, not everybody, but I mean, us. I know that the people in this call right now, specifically because we were, Triplefour podcast people, were not hanging out. and we stopped doing, we stopped filming Darkness on the Edge of Town, and I don't know. I wasn't doing anything. I don't know anybody who was doing anything until June.
I think. Well, I was doing heroin. I don't know about.
Oh, right. Well, I've heard that's they're getting you with the old switcheroo these days. You go in, you're like, hey, vax me, bro, and they're like, hold on,
never mind, it's heroin.
Let me put on Bleach by Nirvana. So yeah, but different, things are different. Things are crazy, right? Things were crazy back then, and things are crazy right now.
Yeah.
Different cultures, definitely different in Chicago than it is in Missouri, and also different in Michigan, where I spent, that month there. And I don't really want to talk a lot about it, but I was working on a film, working on a movie, I was participating in the production of a film. And as you know,
yeah, right.
Yeah. And if that movie comes out, I'll let you know. And accordingly, I would say that we ought to, it's something we've done before, is take some time for films.
Time for films. Parasite, Midsommar, Jean-Luc Godard, Robert Eggers sucks. This is the Time for Films theme song. It's over.
Dude.
Come on, Maddie. I'm like, this is my thing. I gotta segue.
That was a compliment. Very cute.
We're back, baby.
You're welcome.
We're back, baby. Time for films. Let's go. All right.
Let's go, Biden. Let's go.
This is Biden country. All right. We all collectively just watched a film, and I want Josh to break it down.
You want me to break it down? That's something I can't remember most of the plot of.
All right. I want Maddie to break it down. What was it called?
The Dead Space, right?
Yeah.
Dead Man in Space.
Oh, actually, I'll be honest though. This is first comment. There was no dude with his thumbs up in that movie, so the poster lied.
There wasn't anybody in open space either. There's no open space in the movie.
That's true. They got us with the poster.
They had thumbs up vibes. Okay.
Well, from the director?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
If you look in the reflection somewhere, there's a dude.
There's a dude. The director's always doing this. He's never.
Exactly. Yeah, we got exactly 2 nipples shown.
That's it.
That was important. There might have been another set of nipples that should have been shown. They weren't. Yeah, whatever.
Let me just point out, this is what makes or breaks a movie for Maddie. Nudity of the feminine variety.
It's better if there's equivalent nudity. If we would have seen a D head, that would have made it feel feminine. But there wasn't, but that's okay.
Very close, though. Very close.
Very close.
Easy to imagine where the D head would have arisen. Best characters, Tin Pan for sure.
Okay, you got to tell the people what the movie was about.
Oh yeah, so the movie was actually all about
idea.
Tin Pan, believe it or not. No, it was about, what was it about?
That's I think I figured it out now.
Okay, there was a thing.
It's a virus.
Infecting people and murdering them and birthing itself. And everyone was like, oh my God, how do we defeat this? We're shooting it and we're fucking each other about it. And it's just not working. And then what's his face from Malcolm in the Middle and Breaking Bad came out looking fine as hell and sacrificed himself.
Whoa.
All right. Wow.
Sacrificed himself for the cause of science to defeat. And then the love interest broke off at the end because his home is space.
So it's Alien. It was the movie Alien, basically.
A cheap rip-off version of Alien.
Bryan Cranston was in it.
Yes.
Kind of. I was saying, like, it basically was just a virus. They're like, we don't know what it is. And Bryan Cranston's character didn't want to kill it yet. Everyone else did. So they brought in this dude that's essentially a Han Solo dude.
Yeah, he had some stares for days.
I don't understand the rules of the virus, though, because the first one, the person gets bit and then they stomach burst. But Bryan Cranston has it the whole time and nothing ever happens to him other than
I think he's a different
I'm
virus.
going to use this.
No.
He has the UK strain.
That's right.
Yeah. No, he had like taken the antibody thing.
Yeah, there's two viruses.
Created. So he had like taken that, and that ended up like kind of killing him, but it also was hurting the virus thing, but also the virus was a monster. So it was we're a little iffy on it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And the monster ate him and died. And then also they set it on fire and that fixed it too. So he didn't have to
Yes, this is all very technical and real.
Yeah, so they brought the Han Solo man to look cool, but also look extremely worried all the time.
Yeah, Krieger.
That's his name, yeah.
Krieger is the sort of Saber Rain, Han Solo type guy. And he shows up, he answers the distress call. And he's like, he always looks like kind of like.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so he does look that. And then sometimes he goes like, he squints like he's trying just really hard to just.
And then he shoots a lot of guns that don't work.
So he looks sad, but also like he's like going for a sexy sad. He's like.
Yeah. He tries to like look intense. And then like.
He's a lone wolf. His only friend is Tin Pan.
I can't. Honestly, I don't know what he's doing. I can't get this. It's like, but he's uncertain.
Yeah,
he's got the forehead wrinkles that like.
I think you got to get the eyebrows in there. Like,
oh yeah,
that's probably the most accurate.
What like the question is like I made this comment when we were watching it. Every one of these movies, every like B, not even B. This is like, this is D tier, D list sci-fi adventure movie. The main guy is just Han Solo, but nobody can do it. Like nobody can pull it off. Like it's always like I'm sexy and a loner and kind of mean, but also sensitive sometimes.
And then he's just a dick to the robot the whole time, which is allegedly his best friend, Tin Pan.
And Tin Pan,
because they have the banter.
They do. And Tin Pan, at first it looks like a robot, but then you're like, oh wait, no, that's literally a guy in some clothes.
That they just edited little robot sounds over it.
Yeah.
He does his very, very best to like walk like a robot, but it's clearly just a dude.
Every time he turns his head, zzz, zzz, zzz. And also there's the part where there's like a small fire in the cabin and
fire.
And instead of a regular alarm, it's just fire. And the scene went on for like a while.
Fire. Well, I don't want to distract you from some very important business, but we got a problem. Fire. Tin Pan?
Yeah, because he like takes his sweet time to grab the fire extinguisher, and eventually he's like, fire.
I think the funniest part is that like at the beginning of this movie, he makes the movements like he is a robot, but as you get towards the end, it looks like he just completely fucking gave up and just started just like, moving more like a person.
Yeah.
Hold on. There you go. All right.
Very good.
Back to films.
Sorry to distract.
Time. This isn't time for dogs. This is time for films. And Tin Pan.
I have to give it a rating. I would go 4 out of 5.
That's so generous.
4 out of 5?
Yeah.
It really wasn't. I mean, it wasn't very entertaining. to me.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I zoned out for part of it. I did. But I zoned out for less of it than I find that I do other films of that nature. I was invested.
The thought of the D head revealing itself kept you going.
Yeah, that random scene where the entire tone shifted. I was really about that.
Yeah, the sex scene was very majestic.
It was. Just like in the middle of this, like, things are exploding and monsters are crawling out of people's bodies. It was just like these chill vibes. We've got a fucking robe shit things. We got titties flying around, D heads. The vibes were on. It was cool. It was chill.
I also need to mention that the whole movie involves people shooting space pistols at the alien, and it's totally irrelevant. It does not work
the whole time, and they just kill it with fire at the end of the movie.
And they say this. They mention it on screen that the guns don't work, and they know it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
The whole
if it doesn't work,
movie,
just keep doing
up
it.
until the very end, where what's his face literally sacrifices himself, and then they set the thing on fire. And nobody really acknowledges that plot hole of like, he didn't have to die. They could have just set it on fire, which they did talk about previous in the film. They were like, yeah, some other place had something similar to this, and they burned the whole place down. Weird. Wonder why they did that.
He didn't even really sacrifice himself, because at first the plan was he was going to take some of his like DNA or something, and then they tried to put it into a dart to shoot the monster, and that didn't work.
They could have addressed the plot hole of just leaving, because it seems like there was no actual threat to anyone outside of the building.
Well, they couldn't go anywhere, right, though? Because
they had the ship.
His ship was broken, and they were not on a ship. They were stationed on the planet.
Yeah, but I don't know how he fixed the ship afterwards. Like,
that
ordered parts.
Like, so, yeah, you got Amazon Prime.
He ordered parts. His ship broke out of nowhere. That was a very...
It was from the landing, if you recall.
Wow.
Oh, yeah,
it was set on fire, and there were issues, and then they were being attacked by things and stuff. And then Tin Pan did a subpar landing, and it broke the rest of the ship. Did you guys watch the fucking movie?
Kind of. I was focused on that.
This might be the first time I was all the way tuned in.
I think the production value was pretty decent compared to some of the other Tubi films that we have seen.
Yeah.
But it was so generic, and I don't know. It wasn't necessarily boring because it was really short and paced well, but it was
very misguided.
Yeah. It was like, that's like a light 2.
That's generous.
Bryan Cranston being there makes it the 4.
So you didn't mention that you're like had eyes for Bryan Cranston when we were watching this.
Yeah.
This is news to us.
I just thought that was obvious. I'm sorry.
That's Malcolm's father.
I was gonna say Bryan Cranston seems like a pretty reasonable, sexy dad. You know, get a couple sexy dad vibes.
That's Maddie's vibe. Maddie's into that sexy dad thing.
Maddie wants to get daddy dommed by Bryan Cranston.
Daddy dom me. No, dude, he was a daddy when he was a literal father, okay? And then this is the young version?
You talking about young Daddy Cranston?
I did tweet twice about it.
To Bryan Cranston.
While we were watching it?
Yes.
All right, hold on a minute.
Here, allow me to read Maddie's tweets.
Yeah, I give this one a strong 1.5 out of 5.
Wow,
I'm with Josh. No, I'm on the 1-5 scale.
It's not like it's not definitely not a 1 movie, but it definitely is not.
Maddie,
it's not enough. It's not entertaining enough.
Maddie's tweets. The first one says, "I want someone who looks at me like this," and it's like
it's him being
Bryan Cranston,
like, very shocked and disgusted. That's what I want.
And this one, and then the other one says, "Best film featuring Zaddy," and it's the poster, and then Cranston. Unreal. So thirsty.
Tell me he's not a total daddy in this, though. Holy shit, he looks so good.
He would have been a better leading man than Krieger.
Yeah, but I really like him. I like him in the role that he was in. I think it added to why he was so attractive. You know, I would have liked to see him in the sauna.
Hey. So at different points in this film, the main guy is in a sauna.
Yeah. Basically butt-ass naked in the sauna. In fact, the final scene. Hey, you know what? That was a little congruity because the first scene is him in the sauna alone. The final scene.
Wow.
Maddie is getting her master's in film, if you didn't know.
You guys even watch the scene?
You didn't watch the movie.
You guys are wrong.
I do have a degree, okay?
In rocks. Anyway.
It's still a degree.
Let's move on. We've rated the film. On the other end of the spectrum, the Oscars took place. I didn't watch them. I was so disinterested because
has a degree.
Lick rocks.
I didn't watch it. I had only seen a couple of the movies. I saw Borat 2. I saw Sound of Metal. I saw Chicago 7. I don't know. Just seemed like it wasn't a great crop of movies. Didn't feel like a real year for the Oscars for me. But Nomadland won Best Picture. And this is a movie that had been written about by every film website all year. It was a festival movie, and there's no theaters in 2020. So it was like, oh my God, you have to see this movie. It's gonna be Best Picture. And I'm like, I don't know how to see it.
Dan, it's really a shame you didn't watch the Oscars because you completely missed out on. They made a dedication to Darkness on the Edge of Town. They didn't win any awards, but they particularly said in the speech that Dan Stewart, Hollywood has their eye on him.
Well, in that case, I watched the Oscars, guys, and let me tell you, Nomadland, phenomenal. Really good pick. It's no Darkness on the Edge of Town, I guess, whatever. Like, Cyborg could have been mentioned, but whatever. In reality, Nomadland, like, it was just this all year being on film Twitter was seeing this one picture of Frances McDormand looking like this. And I'm like, I don't know what this movie's about. I don't know what the deal is, but everybody's saying it's going to win Best Picture. And here we are. It won Best Picture and it's on Hulu. So I watched it and it was decent. It was a decent picture. In any other year, it would have been just like another kind of like art house film festival favorite. But in 2020, it won Best Picture. It was kind of interesting. Basically, Frances McDormand is like a factory worker who's been displaced because this whole factory shut down. So she becomes a nomad, a houseless person who lives in her van and travels over all over the country. And the really cool part about it is that they use like all these real people. Like they go to these real camps, like RV camps in the desert and stuff. And they have these real people tell their actual stories on camera. That was pretty cool. And it was shot very nicely. It was very pretty, but kind of whatever on it. Ultimately, it was good. It's decent. What have y'all been watching?
I did watch another pretty good one called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, which sounds like it would be.
And then Bigfoot?
And then the Bigfoot.
Okay.
It's on Hulu. I used Josh's Hulu. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Not what
It's like, wait, what?
It's all coming together now. It's not what it sounds like you would think it would be. I thought it was going to be like a shitty B action kind of deal, but it actually is. Is it? The fuck's his name? Sam Elliott is the main character.
Oh yeah, he is.
Oh, nice.
And it's really got this. It's like funny but sad. It's just this very deep sorrow, and it's just weird. But I liked it. It's really good, actually.
He's like
the way they like title it and everything does sound like a B action movie. It's the way the title goes, at least. But I watched
Who Killed Hitler.
That's Sam.
And then Bigfoot.
That's a pretty good Sam Elliott.
I did watch Hail Satan documentary about the Church of Satanism.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah, it was interesting. And I was really intrigued by like the whole idea of like the creation of it and how they've actually kind of how they've basically moved on or just kind of resumed over time, and what they've had to do. So it was just it really was an interesting thing, and like the way they like actually, constructed themselves and how they have like, I think like the seven points they have just follow by, which is like they always, follow the latest in science and any research and things like that. I think it's really interesting. I think it's a very, it's really neat to see that kind of like almost like, I guess, saturation of Catholicism, but kind of implemented in a decent way.
Yeah, I had watched that last fall, like actually right before I moved here, and it's like it's not top of mind at the moment, so I can't have like a full discussion about it. But it is a really interesting doc. That these people are very intentionally, being kind of a performance art / activist group. Yeah. And using the stigma of Satanism as a catalyst for, conversation and goofing on the Christian infused.
Because there really is no like Satan. It's just all a satire. It's all satire. And then it's basically their worshiping is activism.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit. It's kind of a goof. And, The Man Who Killed Hitler, then Bigfoot. Speaking of Bigfoot, speaking of Hulu documentaries that are on Hulu, I watched one documentary series, and it was called Sasquatch. And this was one of the most disappointing, awful things I've seen in a hot minute, because I like a good Sasquatch. I like a good Bigfoot. I like a good cryptid crypto. Bigfoot coin coming soon. I like true crime, and this promised to be true crime featuring Sasquatch. I mean, the title is just Sasquatch. That's it. And the first 5 minutes of this series, it's 3 episodes. They're about an hour long. First 5 minutes are this guy telling a story. He says, it's 1993. I'm working on a weed farm in Mendocino County, California, in the Emerald Triangle. And he says, I'm working there. It's fun, having a good time, lots of hippies and everything. And I'm hearing these rumors about Bigfoot, and people are talking about Bigfoots in the area, Bigfoot. We've seen him. I've seen him. And then one night, it's like a rainy, stormy night, and he's in the main farmhouse with the main farmer. And a guy rushes in and he says, oh my God, they're all dead. There's blood everywhere. And the guy's like, what? What's going on? And he's like, did we get ripped off? Did somebody steal our weed? And he's like, no, this wasn't a ripoff. There's just 3 of them. Their body parts are all over the place, and there's blood everywhere. And it's just, I'm freaked out. And he's like, whoa. There's 3 people dead. And he's like, yeah, Bigfoot killed them. And that's where it starts. And it's
roll credits.
Roll credits. End of story. No, but anyway, so like it's this guy, and he's a private investigator. He worked for like he's a private investigator now, but he used to be an investigative journalist. And this guy was in the shit. Like he was embedded with Nazis and gangs and all this stuff. And he's telling this story in hindsight about this stuff that happened on the weed farm in '93. And he's like, I recently decided, I should probably look into that. Which my first question was like, you didn't look into it the next morning? Okay, third, it's 30 years later. That's cool. And he's like, I'm going to look into that now. So he starts, calling people. He's calling the farmer and whatever. And the first episode of this is actually pretty decent because it's all about Sasquatch mythology. They interview the guy who shot the famous footage of Sasquatch, walking along, and he's like, famous Sasquatch footage. And that was really cool because that guy is super strange. And then there's this, there's like this gay couple who are like Sasquatch hunters, and they're like arguing about, he's like, this guy believes that Sasquatch can teleport. And he's like, no, I never said that. And they're funny and they're fun. And then there's, I don't know, like all these, there's this one guy who's like a Sasquatch tour guide. And he's like, yeah, one time I saw a Sasquatch and it was over there and it was great. And it's like, so it's all these fun characters, you got to love it. And then episode 2 comes and he's starting to make some headway. He's got some contacts, people who were on the farms back in the early 90s. And it's like the beginning of this episode 2. He's like, I should also mention that the guy who said that people had died at the hands of Bigfoot, he was a meth head. He was a meth addict. And, I'm probably not going to get an interview with him because he's probably dead. And I'm just like, this whole documentary is based on the credibility of the guy telling a story about Bigfoot killing people. And you're now telling me that he was on meth. And so that episode progresses and he starts investigating like other stuff, like basically like other people who have been murdered in that area. And like kind of, I guess in the like late 90s, there was sort of a war on drugs thing where like all these helicopters flew in and started just like scooping up weed and like, evicting these hippies off their homes and whatever. And so that's kind of where the second episode goes. And I'm starting to think like, okay, is Sasquatch real? Did he kill 3 people? By the third episode, the guy's like, I should also mention that there was a guy who was an enforcer for one of the big gang leaders, and his nickname was Bigfoot. And it's like, okay, you just lied to me for 3 episodes, bro. Nah. Like, okay, a guy whose nickname was Bigfoot killed 3 dudes.
Yeah.
And I was just so disappointed. And like the basically the ending is like kind of this guy talking about his own personal history and how that literally an actual line in this documentary is, so sometimes the real monster is people, other people, and racism.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, I just wanted to see Sasquatch. That was the title.
Huh.
All right. Well, that's been a lot of time for Filmz.
Yes.
And I'm sure some of that will make it in. And I just feel like, it's time to wind down. Maybe if there's anything else anybody wants to do.
Would you rather have no elbows or no knees?
That sounds like a question for questions that have plagued mankind.
Who am I? Where do I belong? Where is the path? Questions that have plagued mankind.
I'm back, baby. This is it.
No elbows or no knees.
I don't even know how that fucking works. Think about it. What happens instead?
Yeah, like you're cut off at that place.
Like you're just like
moved.
No elbows or no knees. That's the question.
You can't move. Yeah, you're just a stick.
No knees.
I'm going no knees.
So it's either no elbows or no knees or both. Like you have to have no.
It's would you rather have no elbows or no knees?
I think I'd rather have no knees.
Yeah, because we're all using our elbows like right now.
Yeah.
But like you have no knees, you're just like this. You just
yeah.
Well, and having a prosthetic legs is so much easier.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
What are you doing with those? Jumping?
In a wheelchair.
Walking.
Legs
Mostly.
is so much easier, and to be able to learn to walk with fake legs and like be relatively normal with fake legs is so much easier than like not having functional arms and hands. It's just pure. There is a correct answer here, so. And I would know because I have a degree in engineering. This is my realm.
So there's a whole new. So no knees. So that's it. That's just the actual final answer. No other answer.
So no knees.
No knee November.
No knees.
No knee November.
I think I
Cut
know.
your fucking knees off in November. All right. So this one was submitted by Anonymous, and they said, "How do I purchase an ICBM?"
You don't purchase one, you build one, bro.
See, but if you can't DIY it, where would you go to purchase one? Who would you get it? Russia would be an easy one, I think, first. I think they're to be giving them away on
Yo,
fire sales.
You know, I know this guy, Ryan. He'll set you up.
Come to the Colorado drugstore / pharmacy to get your heroin Moderna shot and also purchase an ICBM. An intercontinental bowel movement.
Yo, if you're looking for an ICBM, I got some phone numbers I can share with you.
You laugh now, but this is the White House every day.
Joe Biden's like, go outside, no mask, woo! ICBM, where do I get one?
Where is that, please? Let me know. I really am desperate here. But so if you were to want an ICBM, where do you think you would get one?
It's like something Walmart would probably have, you know?
Just like, just the headquarters in Walmart?
Just any old Walmart.
A St. Petersburg Walmart.
Okay.
In the food aisle.
Very weirdly enough, in the food aisle.
In Russia, they straight up eat
some
that
items that are just in weird places. It's one of those, you know?
Yeah. See, I was thinking of like a Costco type deal.
Buy them in bulk. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you get like 4 of them for like the price of 2. Why not?
The issue is that when you buy an ICBM at Walmart, that if you do the self checkout, then you have to have the lady come over.
Yeah,
Yeah. It'll be like, you shouldn't have done
You
that.
shouldn't have done that. Yeah.
You fucking did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
Yeah, so Walmart's an issue, but you can get it there. I think the Costco way is better personally, but
you get a slice. You get a slice of pizza.
Slice on the way out.
Can you get it at
little dog, maybe.
Just general mall.
Well, all these you get like a grass-fed version of an ICBM.
Oh.
Comes with like.
Well, you know, if you want to be sustainable.
Comes with a little mulch.
What's that store at the mall that has like dildos and stuff?
Spencer's.
You go to Spencer's Gifts, bro. They got ICBMs in the back.
Oh yeah, they say "fuck" on it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they say "keep it trill" and shit like that.
And they have a Cookie Monster on the side.
Yeah.
So this one is the last one I have. This one was also submitted by a person that also wanted to be anonymous. And they said, will McDonald's heat up my Whopper in their microwave oven?
I can tell you right now, no.
That's a solid no.
Experience?
Well, so when I worked fast food, I remember one time somebody was like, hey, I have some trash. I'm in the drive-thru. I'm in the drive-thru window, and somebody is pulled up ready to receive food, and they say, hey, I have some trash. Like, I think from Taco Bell. Like, they were hitting all the spots. And they're like, I have some trash. Can you throw this away? And I was like, I don't see why not. And so I took it and I threw it away. And then my manager came up to me later and was like, hey, yeah, you cannot do that. That's a sanitation thing. And in hindsight, this is a pre-COVID scenario. I mean, they were being very proactive about that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that if you have a piece of food, that they're not going to heat that up for you. And also, most places don't actually have a microwave. Like the fast food place I worked in did not have a microwave.
When I worked at McDonald's, they did. It was usually used to heat up like cookies before they put them out in the little display case.
I was gonna say, if anything, there's one in the manager's office.
Heat up cookies to eat.
They heat up cookies for themselves. Like,
yeah.
I would say, I don't know. I guess what would possess you to go into a McDonald's after you just went into a Burger King and get a Whopper? Like, you're just gonna do you kind of like bar hop, but with fast food?
Hey, do you have a microwave? No? Okay, thank you. Hey, do you have a microwave? No? Okay, thank you. Hey, you guys have a microwave?
Person who doesn't own a microwave, but by the time that they find the microwave, the food is cold. They already know it's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
That's a tough life.
Yeah.
Dan, do you have a microwave?
Nah, dude. Wait, I gotta go the other way. Hey, nah.
You turn the opposite way.
It's a mirror situation. Oh, shit. I'm going to say no, they're not going to do that for you. Josh, you actually worked at McDonald's, so you have more authority than I do, but...
Yeah, no, they absolutely won't. There was a time, though, that I went to, this is during COVID, that I went to Taco Bell to their drive-thru, and the woman gave me, like, 2 straws. And so I was like, oh, yeah, you gave me an extra straw. She's like, oh, yeah, I can't accept that. I'm like, oh, all right. I get it, but it's like, it is a straw, and it's also encased in paper.
Yeah, but your germs are on the paper.
She shouldn't have given me an extra straw. I don't know what to tell her.
That's what you think.
I was informed that you can go to Schnucks and buy a big thing of Taco Bell sauce, like, say, Diablo sauce, my favorite sauce. I did not know this. I've been going to Taco Bell drive-thrus in COVID and asking for a ridiculous amount. When I pull up to the drive-thru, they ask, do you want any sauce? And I say, yes, I want a ridiculous and absurd amount of Diablo sauce. You can charge me for it if you need to. And the last time I went, it didn't have it. And I tipped the drive-thru $30 just because I have a bunch of cash that I'm not doing anything with right now. And I see them doing crazy numbers and I want to help out. Went back a week later. I said, yes, I would like an absurd amount of Diablo sauce. Charge me for it if you need to. And this is what the woman gave me.
Wow.
An entire cup of, and I've already gone through some of this, Taco Bell Diablo sauce. Proud sponsor of the Triplefour podcast.
Double dare you.
I'm a mild sauce kind of man.
Yeah, I'm a fire guy. I feel like the Diablo, I love spicy stuff. Check out that episode, Wings Are Crazy Right Now, in which I was declared the hot sauce king. But Diablo, I just don't like the taste. Don't like the taste as much. I think fire's good.
Or alternatively, you get the spicy potato soft taco. You put no sauce on it because it has that horrendously beautiful mayo bullshits on it. You know what I'm talking about? And you just eat that plain.
That is good, and it can be eaten plain. But I'm talking about if you get a fucking beef burrito or whatever, you got.
Yeah. Well, do I look like I'm eating that? Okay.
Wow.
Hostility towards the end of the show.
Don't like that.
I just have experienced like 3 separate cases of sexism in the show this far, so.
It's not going to be hard to cut you out of this.
You're done. Remember when I
called the police on you before. I will do it again.
I'm just gonna drink the rest of this Diablo sauce. So,
all right, yeah. So tonight we're gonna finish up. Nick is going to drink a Diablo sauce packet, and that will cap us off for this evening. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
I'm about to do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Let me do the little wrap up first, and then we'll end on that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for the 3 years of the Triplefour podcast and a year.
Wow. All right.
What the fuck?
I have the Dead Space virus inside me. 3 years of the Triplefour podcast, 1 year of COVID. Check out Darkness on the Edge of Town. Check out Triplefour store. All those links in the bio, in the description, whatever the fuck. And now Nick's gonna drink a hot sauce packet.
Yeah, and it's my favorite one. It says, "Sorry, Mom." I know it's backwards. It's pretty good. Checks out. I got a lot of it, like an absurd amount of it. So go to Taco Bell, Tip your drive-through workers. Tip everyone. It's great. It's good stuff. I have COVID now. Thanks.